Here in a couple of minutes.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out here this afternoon. I'll talk a little bit about our Colorado Mines game on Saturday night, and then a little bit about our upcoming Jamestown game this upcoming Saturday. Obviously, not the performance we were looking for with Colorado Mines. They're a solid Division II football team. After watching the tape and my feeling after the game, we've got to do a better job executing in all three phases. We're a young football team. We made too many critical mistakes too early in the football game to stay with that group, and those are the things that we've worked on getting fixed. We practiced yesterday. Our guys are a pretty resilient group. We played 14 true freshmen, started 14 true freshmen on Saturday. So we've got to learn and grow and play competitive football against Division II talent, especially the Colorado Mines group, that a very, very similar institution with us from an academic standpoint. We had some issues early through a pick that went the wrong way, started us on the wrong foot. Didn't play well enough in the special teams phase, gave up a couple big returns and a block punt late in that game. And those are all momentum-changing games that we certainly can't allow to be successful. So we've worked on correcting those, and we're very, very excited to get back on the football field and play Jamestown College this Saturday up in Jamestown, North Dakota. Any questions that I can answer on the Colorado Mines game or the upcoming Jamestown, North Dakota game for anybody?
Injury-wise, how'd you come out of Colorado Mines?
We weren't too bad. You know, we've had a situation with our center, Andrew Anthony, which he hurt his ankle against North Dakota. He re-injured that ankle. He'll be a game day decision this week, and that was one of our sticking points offensively. He's the cog in the middle of that offensive unit from a snap situation to identify in front. So we're hoping Andrew Anthony's ready to roll this weekend, and because he is a big part of what we do offensively. We'll also get our starting right tackle back, Josh Hostreater. He was gone last week after a turned ankle against North Dakota, so we're excited to get Josh back and get some consistency back on the offensive line with that group.
At times, it looked like you had an awful lot of young players out on the field. Is there a count or anything like that?
I think, we started 14 of them, true freshmen, on game day, so I got to double check. But there's a lot of young football players on that field. We changed the roster quite a bit. If you look at our roster, over 50% of our roster is true freshmen. So we're taking our lumps, and these young guys are learning on the run. Obviously, their eyes were open against North Dakota, which is I knew they were a good football team after watching them beat Portland State last week, 47-35. They are a very good football team, especially with a backup quarterback. And then there's a lot of little mistakes we're making with a group of 18-year-olds out there and a handful of older returners, but a young group of guys that are making some mistakes that they're learning from, and they got to continue to learn from so we can put a better product on the field.
What were the biggest?
A lot of it's a line, a sign, and really leverage to the football. Some things we did on the special teams side of things where, a young freshman is not understanding leverage to the football, and pretty soon one or two guys loses leverage to the football. Now we've got a big return and something that we had bottled up pretty well. I looked at the two big returns they had. Both of them, we have three guys to the point of attack in a position where we should be able to make a play on paper, but we're not doing some things technically sound with them. They've lost some lane integrity. They've lost kind of what we teach them to sprint, shimmy, and once we lose one or two of those, we allow them to get out in the open field. So we worked on correcting that last night during our practice and some coverage lanes things, but those were a couple things. You look at it defensively and some coverages. There's a couple different coverages. We're playing with a very young secondary, and they blew some assignments on that end, and those are the frustrating things where you feel like you have a good call, you feel like you're in good position, but we're not executing.
Can you talk about the touchdown a little bit?
Yeah, we did. We did a great job with Deshaun Scott. We really felt we could get over the top of Colorado Mines, and we had some opportunities. Deshaun Scott's a true freshman. We got him, what we call just a three-vert right up the seam. They were playing a too-high look, and Deshaun can run with anybody that we're going to play against. And we had him open a couple other times later in the game, just weren't being able to protect it long enough and get the football to him. So that was an exciting deal right there, and it was a great play by Deshaun Scott. It shows his big playability, and we've got to find a way to make sure to get him out in some space some more.
Overall, there were some big plays for us. There were some big plays for, obviously, Colorado Mines. What would you say you came out of it positive? Because sometimes it's hard to find positive things after a game like that.
I think it's a sense of reality for some of these young guys, that these are the things we have to do consistently to be successful. So we're playing hard. It's not like our guys are shutting things down on the football. So the positive is our kids are playing hard. I think they're learning, game to game that the little things are always what make the difference. And the difference between being one step, two step, a yard here, a yard there, is a difference between making a big play or giving up a big play. And I think that learning process, as it continues, is only going to get better.
Talk to us about Jamestown.
Jamestown, we've got a handful of tape on Jamestown. Had a chance to peek with them. Really a pretty athletic defense. I watched their defensive cuts in the games we have this morning. They run around real well on defense. They've got some backers that are active. They're active in the secondary. Offensively, they're a multi-set offense. They'll do a handful of different things. They've kind of, last week against Wisconsin Stout, they made a quarterback change, so I think they have a little bit of a quarterback controversy going on. They're trying to find some identity in that phase of it. On special teams wise, they have a good punter. He's got a big average with it, and they do some things on that end. But they're in our boat a little bit right now. They're an 0-3 football team seeking a win. We're in the same boat, and I think you're seeing two teams that are starting to turn the corner a little bit. We're excited to play them. We're excited to once again get back on the football field. But they're a formidable opponent that I really think defensively runs around extremely well.
Anything special that they do that we haven't seen, or pretty much what we've already seen?
A lot of what we've seen, and we see a lot of 3-4 defenses. That's what we've seen against North Dakota. Their head coach has a background with that system right there, so I think we're going to see a lot of that 3-4 system, which our kids see a lot in practice. Mine was primarily a 3-4 system, zone pressure, so I think it'll be the third week in a row that we see a lot of zone pressure on that end. Offensively, they're really, like I said, they're multiple set. They'll get into some two-back stuff and try to bang you, and they'll also spread it out to some single-back stuff, to some empty stuff, and try to throw the ball around the yard. So a little bit of, North Dakota was a little more two-back. We've seen a handful of it, Mines, but a little more of a traditional single-back when they get there and throwing the football. Mines was a huge play-action team. North Dakota play-action is quite a bit. These guys are probably a little more traditional when they throw the football that way.
Stacy, let's get Patrick Shaw up there. You want to tell us a little bit about Patrick? And Patrick, make your way up there to the podium there with Stacy, and we'll put you on the witness stand.
Pat Shaw's a tremendous returner for us. He's played our outside linebacker, strong safety positions, also a punt returner for us and a kick returner. Tremendous young man. Does everything we ask of him, and exemplifies what we're looking for in a Hardrocker student athlete. And I can't say enough about Mr. Shaw right here.
All right, a little bit background about myself. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. When I was 13 years old, moved to right outside of Phoenix, Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona. Went to high school out there. Had a rough senior season. I got mono and tore up my elbow a little bit and only played in 4 games my senior year. So didn't really have any scholarship opportunities for football. So I focused on my academics, knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an engineer. My brother was actually recruited from this school back in the Kratzer era. He's now playing football over at Youngstown State and having a great career over there and hopefully playing on in the next level. I got a walk-on opportunity up here. I took advantage of that. I'm a junior civil engineer student and now a scholarship football player, and all my hard work goes to that, and I just thank my parents for keeping my mind straight with that and keep my work ethic on task, and academics always come first with me. And football is, I'm just blessed with the opportunity to strap up every day and compete in the football level and us going Division II. Exciting time for me in this football community at this school, and with Coach Collins coming in, I can only see pluses for our future with our Hardrocker football team. And you guys have any questions for me personally?
What have you found to be the biggest adjustment as we continue to play better competition?
We really just have to execute, like Coach said, like the leverage on special teams. We missed countless tackles on defense, and missed tackle after missed tackle. That's extra yard that we really shouldn't give up. And a 2 or 3 yard run could turn into a 9-10 yard gain. So after 2nd and 7, it's now another 2nd and 1 or another 1st and 10. So that changes some momentum. Also, missed tackles leads to big plays, and we need to limit the big plays on defense and offense and special teams. So all three phases, if we limit that, we'll step up our game a little bit more.
What motivates you?
My motivation is my mom. My mom is a stage 4 breast cancer patient. She is 100% cured now. And that's really what drives me when I wake up after 3-4 hours of sleep of studying and I practice the same day. I keep on striding forward and always have that in the back of my mind because I know what she had to go through. And that's what keeps me going day in and day out. And I know what I have to do to be successful as a student, as an athlete, and then in my future as an engineer.
What is your highlight in your collegiate football career
So far as freshman year, when we went 7-3, we went to the conference championship game, and that team was a good team. And I believe that this team that we have on the field now is a better team than we had my freshman year. And going 7-3 and coming just short of a conference championship title, that was one of my highlights in my collegiate football career.
Coach mentioned 14 freshmen on the team this year. You were obviously, you spoke about being a freshman. How's that changed the makeup of the team as far as practices, learning, future, all of those type of things? Because it's had an effect.
Yeah, the learning curve for the freshmen, obviously the tempo of UND, they were sort of weren't there from from a 1AA standpoint to a high school speed level is a little different. So they were sort of just running behind, and when they would blink, they're already behind them. But I feel even after Colorado Mines that they all have a good base under their shoulders, and I know a handful of the defensive players, all the freshmen who are playing defense. We have one nose tackle, Kyle Hudson, who's from my high school. He started as a sophomore when I was a senior. And I know that every single freshman who is playing on this football team has the capability of being a great football player for the Hardrocker football team.
What do you see as the task for this weekend for you?
For me personally, I have to step up more as a leader. I understand that. Have to make sure that our football team can persevere through the downtimes. No football team ever plays 100% through every single play. We have to win our one-on-one battles, and if someone doesn't win a one-on-one battle, one play, I have to pick them up for the next play, and that's what I'm going to put on myself for this next game.
You know, sometimes when you come off a hard loss like that, then you hear a young man like Patrick Shaw speak, it really kind of motivates you again to get out there and try again. Patrick, very good. Thank you very much. I'm sure people enjoyed that. Want to thank Joe Berger, the soccer coach, coming up here in a second. Joe wasn't, I kind of asked him late to make sure he could come in, but he did such a good job. And like I said, I had a couple of emails and some people talk about how excited they were about the soccer program. So Joe, come on up. I know you can update us on that. And make sure you tell us again when that first home match is, because I know there's a lot of people anxious for that.
Thanks for having me again today. We had a pretty productive weekend after a long bus ride. On Friday, we jumped out 5 o'clock and played Jamestown. Once again, it's kind of the same old story for us. We gave up a goal about 10 minutes in after playing really, really well. And then chased the game a little bit, had a couple chances at the end, and they capitalized on us for another 2-0 loss. Same thing happened at University of Mary. It was a great day, great Division II soccer game if you were watching it. Teams back and forth on a fast turf field. We gave up another one of our signature goals, probably about 12 minutes in. And then at the end, we had Hunter Reese in behind, just had it, put it up over the crossbar, and then Mario Pena in again behind. And he hit a spectacular shot that beat the goalkeeper, that hit the crossbar and came out. So we're close. These young men keep finding. We're going to have a whale of a practice today, but we're improving with every match, as well as our opponents, so we've got to keep improving and go. The one thing that our guys kept talking about on the bus is that we finally get to play at home and showcase our team to Rapid City. We play Saturday at 7 o'clock versus Great Falls University at Sioux Park. From what I understand, we're going to have a good, exciting crowd. And we're excited to be in the community and let some of those kids that we're out in the community doing camps with Rushmore and Rapid City Youth Soccer League, so they can see some of our guys play and be role models for them. We're pretty healthy. We're getting those little lingering knocks like every team gets through the year. But we're a strong-willed team, and we're going to keep improving and keep fighting and keep going. We had a great performance by our goalkeeper. First time out, Jake Miller played 20 minutes in the second half of the Mary game and really is starting to step up his game and win a spot. So hopefully we can keep moving forward. It's for me, sometimes I feel like I'm a little hard on them because when you look back and you think about these young men, they've really, the ones that have played every minute have played literally only about 360 minutes of soccer. And I think as long as we can keep improving and keep going, we'll get the results towards the end of the year. We're coming on to a hard part of our season where we play 2 games back-to-back this weekend, and then we go on a 3-game road trip where we play Friday, Saturday, Sunday with our team, and then all of a sudden we get a lot of time off where we can rest, and I think we'll really peak when we start October after we fight all these learning battles and we can fresh and get regrouped and keep going. So it's good. I'm excited to be here. There's a lot of good stuff going on in the soccer community in Rapid City, and I know our team is just excited to be part of it, and hopefully we can keep growing this great game that I love, that Coach Luke grew up with, and keep moving forward.
So tell us a little bit about the festivities or the event this coming weekend.
Okay, well, we're going to have a home game at Sioux Park at 7 o'clock on Saturday. There will be a women's game before. Dakota Wesleyan is bringing their women to play Great Falls. So if you're a supporter of women's soccer, there'll be a great avenue. If you have a young daughter or somebody that can looking for a role model, those 2 teams will be playing before. And then we're going to have the international student group is going to have some people there cheering. Hopefully they're chanting and beating drums like a traditional, creating an atmosphere. We've spoken with them a little bit. There'll be a small charge to get in, but if you're a youth soccer player and you wear your jersey, you'll get in for free. And then again, we turn around and we play Sunday at 4 o'clock versus Rocky Mountain at Sioux Park again. So it'll be good. We'll have our guys available for autographs after the game. I think a lot of these kids have already shined to them because of the clinics that we're doing. So we just want to come out and promote. We're working on some fun stuff for halftime. But I think we're looking for a beautiful night, beautiful weekend of soccer here in town.
Joe, the soccer team, much like the football team, has really tried to integrate themselves into the community, and I think you've done an excellent job. Talk a little bit more about the clinics that Luke's been involved in and you've been involved in and how that has gone over.
It's actually gone up fantastic. On Monday night, me and a couple of our guys go out to Rushmore Soccer Club, which is a competitive soccer club, where we have actually student athletes that can demonstrate the skills that we're trying to teach them. I mean, I'm 40 years old and breaking down. My outside the foot turn isn't the greatest. So it's great to have a couple of our students out there integrating with the kids, showing them the game of soccer and showing some of the ins and outs. And then we do the same thing on Tuesday night for Rapid City Youth Soccer out at Star of the West. And we take a little bit more kids because it's a little bit bigger group. But we're just out there playing soccer with them, showing them the ways of the game, showing them important techniques. And it's amazing the feedback we're getting from parents, not only about what their kids are learning, but the way our young men conduct themselves and how open and accessible they are to the students or to the young kids. And I think that says a lot about our university where, our kids understand the value of community service, understand the value of giving back into the sport that has given them so much. So I think we're pretty lucky to have the young men that we have that care so much about the game and the young people and growing the sport here in Rapid City. Any questions? Any more?
One final one.
Let's.
If on the development of the team, and you talked about acclimating a lot of your players to college level soccer.
Right.
And it seems to me from your comments that you seem pretty pleased that they may be maturing a little bit faster than maybe you had thought.
Absolutely. There's a lot to say for throwing the kids into game action. The improvement we've made from Colorado Christian just to the next game to Fort Hays, to dealing with adversity on the travel to Jamestown, and then coming out and competing with a regional opponent like Mary, you can see that we're getting it. And we're improving faster than I think the teams that we're playing. It's just they're improving too, so we got to continue the learning curve and can get to be steep and motivated and determined to make sure that we're winning, get the opportunity to win. I have good soccer players, I have good athletes, but the best teacher is the game. So I got to throw them in those situations. They've got to be able to make mistakes, and they've got to be able to learn. So in year 2, year 3, year 4, we can achieve what I think we'll be capable to achieve here at this institution in a short time. So I think we're pretty lucky. Hopefully our kids are keep buying in and get doing the work in the classroom, because that's just important as me as everything we do on the soccer field is making sure that they're on track to graduate and go. So I appreciate you guys having me today, and hopefully we'll see you next week and at our games this weekend. Thanks for having me.
Dick, I know you had a couple things you'd like to discuss, so we're looking forward to the soccer. Don't forget the football game. I think they stream those on the Jamestown website if our viewers want to watch those, and on the Hardrocker website at gorockers.com right there. So here, Dick.
Thanks, Tom. As the seasons move forward, we start to get more and more sports involved and a lot more activities. So I just want to bring you up to date as what transpired over the weekend. Our cross-country team kicked off its season this past Saturday in a dual meet down at Chadron State, which is a regional opponent. And our men had a terrific meet. They had 6 out of the top 10 finishers. And we won the meet 19-40 over Chadron, with Brett Billets winning the time at 20:52, which is an outstanding time. It was a great start for our men's cross-country team. It's a great, I know the coaches in cross-country talk all the time about running in a pack, and it seemed like our runners ran pairs in a pack. They had 2 that would be close together and 2 more that would be close together, but the bottom line was all 7 counters, 7 runners came in 11th place or better. So that was a terrific start for Jerry Schaefer and his staff, and I know they were excited. On the women's side, the score was flipped a little bit. Chadron came out on top 39-19, but we had 3 ladies finish in the top 8, which is a positive thing. Kayla Morissette, I think is how you pronounce her last name. I apologize if I missed it. Was 21:16 for the winning or the leading time for us, and she finished in 3rd place. An interesting side note for our cross country is that Coach Schaefer, obviously, is our head coach in our cross country. His teams ran against his daughter. His daughter, a freshman down at Chadron State, ran in the cross-country meet for Chadron, so that's always an interesting sideline as you're out there and you're probably cheering really hard for your team, but you're also a little bit cheering for your daughter and hoping that she does really well. Also, our women's volleyball team had a big weekend. The last time excuse me, Tiffany was able to be here. We were talking about a meet, and we had a big meet against Dickinson State, and we won that match 3-2. We started out really well and won the first game 25-11, and then it got tight, and we lost the second one 23-25, then won 25-22, and then lost 24-26, and finally won in 15-7. And then this past weekend, the volleyball team traveled over to Mitchell at the Corn Palace tournament, and during that tournament they went 3-1. They defeated Dakota State 3-0. They defeated College of St. Mary's from Nebraska 3-0. They defeated Valley City State from North Dakota 3-1, and then they got thumped a little bit by Clark University from Iowa in some close matches where the games were all 25-27, 24-26, or in that range. So that was a tough match for them. And then they came back this last Sunday and played a Division II opponent, Colorado Christian College, and that was an exciting match. It went 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we dropped the first two, and then came back and won the second one, or third one 25-17, and then won 27-25. And in the fifth game, dropped the match 18-16, although we were up 16-15 at one time and were on service. So it was an exciting match. Our team is improving each and every tournament that they go, and for the next weekend they'll be traveling. They leave on Sunday down to go to Colorado Pueblo, and then they play Regis on Monday. So we're really picking up our Division II schedule in volleyball, and currently I think we're just one game under 500, but the team has improved a lot. And it was interesting, I was sitting with the Colorado Christian athletic director, and he kept talking about their 4 freshmen that they're on the floor, and we're really, our kids are really excited. And Colorado Christian, I think, has only lost 3 matches so far this year. I think they're like 8-3 or 9-3. And finally, I had to say to him, well, we've got 4 freshmen on the floor too. So it's an interesting scenario here at this school, is that this year seems to be the year of a lot of young players playing in all of our sports. We're excited about it. It shows the quality of player that we're getting in all of our sports, in football, cross country, soccer. Obviously, I think there's 17 freshmen on the soccer team. So they're making an impact. They're from all over the United States, and we're excited about it. Overall, coming up this week for the Hardrockers on Wednesday and Thursday, the NCAA makes their final visit on campus. They'll be here a day and a half. Hopefully this will be a real positive one, as it has been in the past 2 that they've been here. And with all things moving forward, we'll hopefully be a full NCAA member next September 1st, and we're looking forward to that. With that, is there any questions as it relates to Hardrocker athletics or anything going on? If not, I will close it up and just say thank you very much again for tuning in. Thank you for those that have come for lunch, and we'll see you next Monday. Thank you very much.